All right. Welcome. Oh dear, is it over yet? Put us out of our misery. I apologize. The old washer and dryer is going on at the minute. So that's the noise you hear in the background. Got an itchy nose. I'm in the basement watching the game on my telly. You've heard Dunny, obviously, throughout the first half. Where do you want to start? So we'll start. I guess we'll start here. Essentially, Colorado beating Seattle 3-1 at home makes this a must-win game. Real sort of like lose this game, then their playoff hopes are gone. It's over. It's down 1-0. We'll start with the goal. I guess it was a decent ball that was played into the area. And look, it was a good header. It was a good header. And I'm speaking a lot slower than I normally do because I'm trying not to come across as if I'm targeting anybody in particular. I don't want to be crude and I don't want to be rude. Andrew Putner clearly just got caught on his heels, and he's a shot stopper, but he was far from that on that occasion. I mean, that is a goal that would never go, or that is a shot, I should say, that should never end up as a goal. I mean, he's heading the ball from about 16 yards and he's glancing it. So he's not able to put a ton of neck muscle into it. He's not able to get that much power onto it. He's essentially using the power from the free kick and glancing the ball. And Putner just gets caught flat-footed. He gets caught on his heels. And I don't know why, because as soon as he should be on his toes, ready to go left or right, but it almost looks like he cheated left and then had to go right at the last minute. And the placement of the ball was too much. And so, are we gonna pretend like that's on? Is that on the marking? I mean, you could question how, and I can't remember who the defender was. It was Everton Luiz in front. I can't remember who was behind him, and he kind of got in between the two. But my goodness, Putner needs to do better there. And again, I'm not trying to be too harsh. If I am, please comment, because I'm not. It's not my job. My job's not to offend anybody. I'm just here to kind of speak and talk about what I see. Trev, my fellow colleague, comes in, says I cleaned up the mop. Yeah, this scum had the chop done. And then I thought as the first half played out, it became more and more obvious that Real Salt Lake mentally, they're not there. And I know Danny mentioned it, you just don't want to see them look defeated, so to speak. But as that half ticked on by, the more I sat here watching, going, I mean, like the last 2-3 minutes, right? If you go back after this game's done, go back and watch the last 2-3 minutes of that first half, and tell me they don't look disinterested. I mean, they don't want to be there. I can tell you just by watching it. They're looking disinterested, uninterested, whatever. And so I guess right now, I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is a game where RSL will probably, assuming Seattle could get the job done away from home at Colorado, and that wasn't the case. But look, Major League Soccer is a crazy world. Professional sports, any league for the most part, but more so Major League Soccer is one where upsets do occur, probably more frequently than other leagues. So, nonetheless, they've got 45 minutes to figure out how to back themselves into some form, play themselves into some form. Right now, I'm going to assume this game ends anywhere from 2 to 4-0, because RSL doesn't look, they don't look like scoring a goal. In fact, they look so far from scoring a goal, it's not even funny. And the Galaxy don't look that great either, but they've certainly dominated the chances. Now, those chances haven't been that good. Some have been okay. The highlights are being played right now on the television for those that are wondering. I mean, so it's Damir Krylak behind, but I mean, look, there's no way that should end up in the back of the net. And it's a great header. It really is. I mean, it's like tucked in there in between the post and putting his hand. I get that. Like really nicely positioned header or placed header, whatever. But my word. And Justin Glad, I thought actually did okay, but he was exposed on at least one occasion. Had to make that save with his foot. I don't know, guys. I mean, at this point, honestly, and I feel like I want Real Salt Lake to win this game more, just as much as anybody else does that's an RSL fan. Like, I'm cheering for them because I want to be able to, you know, as a member of the media, I'd love nothing more to be able to go to Rio Tinto Stadium and watch them play in a playoff game or watch a playoff game at home. Like playoff football is fun. And so I'm cheering for them. But right now, you have to question how that goal's going to come because I don't see it happening. I just think they don't look interested, and there's no movement. And in good teams, you know, when they turn the football over deep in their own half, like there's an urgency to push forward. Because generally speaking, okay, this is like football 101 for you guys. Generally speaking, if there's a change of possession, the team that turned the ball over, right? So the team that had the football and then turned it over, generally their defensive structure is not set in time. It's just not. And so you're able, if you're good and you can move the football fast enough, from one end of the pitch to the other, you can actually expose teams, believe it or not. Good teams do that. But you'll notice, and I know Danny mentioned this, so I'm kind of jumping off the back of him. When RSL turn the ball over, like there's a hesitancy to move the ball forward. And the hesitancy, I should say, is a result of no movement, and there's nowhere to go. So if Pablo Ruiz receives the football in his own half and looks up, like there's nowhere for him to go because nobody's making runs, and if they are, they're well defended or easily defended, I should say, and they're just not threatening. And so he doesn't have any. He has to kick it back and forth, and then you saw as the half went on, he started to try and play a few more balls that kind of cut through the lines to no avail. But the balls he's trying to play are exquisite, like really difficult because the runs that are being made aren't dangerous. And so for those passes, those assists, if you will, to make, it's just unlikely. There's no urgency. Like there's none. Like when you receive the football after recovering it, there has to be an urgency. The passing has to be crisp. The forwards, the midfielders, they have to be intertwined. Like there's none of it. It's just stagnant, and it's so easy to defend. It's like it's really from. And I guess you'd consider me an RSL fan because I cheer for them. Like I want them to do well. You know, covering the team, it's always more enjoyable when that one team is doing well. Especially when you have to speak to the players and the coaching staff after the game. You want them to be in a good mood. You want to be able to ask them questions and have them explain and descript and be in depth about whether, you know, when a team's losing, nobody wants to talk, which is fine. And I get that. And I'm not saying, you know, it's a selfish world and I'm just, you know, I'm one of the many minions out there. But yeah, there's issues, man. Let me tell you, there are some serious issues right now. And this season, as you look back on it, I thought they started quite well. MLS's back tournament did okay, but you know the way they were knocked out to San Jose was a head scratcher. You're like, wow, they didn't look good there. And then just as the restart to the regular season, as that occurred, like I felt as though that like throughout certain patches of the season, they've actually looked like a team where you go, wow, like maybe there's something there, you know, for Freddie and the staff to kind of work with, but the last month, has just been really painful. Really, and I feel for all the RSL fans out there. Sorry, that's my washing machine. Got 5 minutes left, and it's going on the old spin cycle. But somebody on Twitter or Periscope says, what channel live? So if you're in Utah, it's on channel 2. But if you don't get that channel, you can download the KSL5 TV app, or you can go to kslsports.com and you can watch for free there. But so here's what's going to happen, guys. Freddie's going to be forced into some substitutions. Wouldn't be surprised if he makes them at halftime, although he's not known to make early subs. It's just the way this one is playing out. I mean, like, you can't just sit there and rely on. Let's have a look at the options he's got, shall we? Right here. I'm going to pull it up. All right. These are the options off the bench. Ochoa's not coming in. Jones probably isn't coming in. Dougie Fresh is going to probably come in. Douglas Martinez. Nick Beasler, I hope, doesn't make an appearance. Michael Chang may. He's probably likely. Eric Holt probably won't. Tate Schmidt probably won't. Oloski probably won't. I mean, like, the options on the bench aren't that great either, considering they're down. I mean, like, Michael Chang, Douglas Martinez, Tate Schmidt, and Oloski are the options. It's telling. You know, that's telling in a must-win game. And, like, let's just assume Seattle had a beaten Colorado. Like, this is basically a must-win game anyway. You know, like, you're hosting Sporting Kansas City a week from today, who are pretty close to the top of the West. I know they're not top. Let's have a look. Let's actually see where they are. But they're a good team. You know, they're a good team. So, like, this is the second. Only 2 points behind Portland, who are on top. Seattle have fallen down to third. But my point is, this is the best chance Real Salt Lake have of picking up 3 points on the road against the LA Galaxy, who just fired their coach literally days ago. Like, they are dismal. They just got beat like 5-2, and the second goal came towards the 90th minute. It was 5-1 for the majority of that game, or at least, you know, when it mattered in the second half. So, all right. It looks like Real Salt Lake have actually come out onto the field early. No sign of the Galaxy yet, but I'm going to write a gamer. It's going to be on kslsports.com. I'm going to come on here after I've spoken to the coaches. We can talk about it more. And I just hope the conversation's more positive. Okay? My name's Tom Hackett. I work for kslsports.com. I'd recommend, if you haven't checked out the website, please go ahead and do so. You'll be thoroughly impressed, especially if you live here in Utah. I'll be back in about 60 minutes, and we'll talk again then. All right? See you guys.